When you add a document or when you import a PDF document into Blackboard or share it with your students, not all PDF documents are accessible. So somebody who is visually impaired may not be able to read the content that you've provided, and this therefore impedes their learning. So for example, on the screen, I have a document that is non-text searchable. I know this because if I try to highlight a line of text, I can't. It doesn't highlight it. I mean, I'll select a block, but that's just a block. Another way that I know this is I can read the text out loud, and I'm going to read this page.
Warning, empty page.
And it tells me that it's not possible. Here's another example. So I have this document. Once again, I can't highlight a specific line of text. It has a note that the text reader would read, but it doesn't read any of this document. So somebody who is visually impaired cannot read this document. Whereas a document that is OCR capable, with this particular page, I can highlight words or lines of text, and I know that this is then accessible to a screen reader. So this is what I really want. This is a document that would be useful to students. So how do I get that? Let me show you pretty much how to convert this using Google Drive or Google Docs. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And here I have a folder. And in there, I happen to have a chapter. And I'll use this a little later. But if I open up this particular chapter, normal students who need a text reader cannot read this. I cannot highlight any of the text. This is not a good document that you want to put into your course. I understand why you would want to try, but ideally you want to get the text, and that way all students can see that. So let me go back to those previous two documents, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them from my file manager, and I am just going to drag them in here. So those two documents have now shown up in my Google Drive. And here is that example of non-searchable text, and I still can't do anything with it. So what I would like to do is convert this into a usable Google document. And then I can paste the text anywhere I want, or I can create a link to it and use it that way. So I'm going to open this up, and right above that you have open with Google Docs. So if I select that, it will take a few seconds. Now it gives me a document that I can highlight the different words on the text, and a screen reader can then read this particular document. I can reformat it if I wanted to use a different font. Say I wanted to do Times New Roman and 12 pitch. I can make changes to it where I could not do that with the previous document. I would give this, a proper title. I would share it. I would put this in my class. So you can have that original document, but you should also have another document that has this particular, that is readable for a screen reader. So that is document number one. And let's go back. And there it is. So now I can link to it. Here is this other one. This happens to be that letter. So we're going to try it with this. So I'm going to open with Google Documents. And so now when I look at this, it is not necessarily pretty, right? It comes in a little crazy, but I can fix that. So I can highlight that particular block of text. I can change the font, change the size of the font. And so now this is more usable for students. So that was they're using all these different fonts. It's a little crazy, but I just want the students to be able to read this. So let me go ahead and close that and go back to that. And sure enough, there it is. All right. So now let's get to this really hard one. So this is a little trickier because the pages are sideways. So even if I brought this up in Blackboard, the students can't read it because they have to turn sideways. They would be forced to print this in order to be able to use it, right? They could probably, using a PDF document, they could probably switch the pages, but what I want is I want them to be able to read what's on the screen. So let's go ahead and convert this. So open with Google Docs. So it brings up a document that looks a little rough, but I can probably do something with it. So this first part of the document is useless. That actually happens to be the title of it. But now we get into the actual meat of the document. So this is quite a few pages long. As we see, it just keeps adding pages, 35, 36. So we'll wait until that stops moving. And there we go, 62 pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control A, which allows me to select the whole document. I am going to change the font to Times New Roman. I am also going to change the font size to 12, and that makes it much easier to read. Now, one of the things that I'll probably have to do is get rid of some of the junk that's in the document. So probably from there to there, get rid of that. So that's chapter 2. So there's certain things that you're going to want to do in order to clean up this document. Some of the things that you may want to keep, that's up to you. But what you want to do is create an experience for your students that will help them learn. And the previous document probably would not allow them to do that. So there's more that I need to clean up. But as we get into the meat of it, it looks pretty good. You'll probably have to compare it to your original document. There's still probably things to fix, and you should take time to do that. But that's a quick way to make this transformation, that it does it pretty thorough. It's not perfect, but it's pretty thorough. So that is how you go ahead and make a conversion from a PDF that is not accessible to text or content that is. Other ways are to do this through Adobe Acrobat Pro, but I don't have a license for that. Most folks do not. This is a way to do it that is also free. Thanks for watching.